Welcome everyone to today's webinar. My name is John Good and I'm the Senior Director of Channel Marketing here at NetSuite. Today we're going to talk about how to compete and win against Microsoft Dynamics. But before we get started, I need to show our safe harbor statement. Also, as a reminder, all phone lines are muted, so if you have a question at any time, type it in the Q&A box and we'll respond to it as we go through the presentation. All right, let's get started. First, we're going to kick things off with Adam Cooper, our Microsoft Competitive Analyst. He's going to highlight some of the differences between Dynamics and NetSuite. Then Brian Gallagher from Incio, a 5-star partner and former Microsoft Gold partner, is going to talk about the different competitive sales scenarios that you might encounter when you're competing against Microsoft and how to address them. Then after Brian's done, we'll wrap things up. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over now to our first speaker, Adam Cooper. Take it away, Adam.
Thanks, John. As John mentioned, my name is Adam Cooper, and I manage the North America Competitive Intelligence team here at NetSuite, as well as being the key expert on Microsoft Dynamics. So what I thought we would do today is provide you an overview of what we're seeing in the marketplace and help you understand how you can compete and win against Microsoft Dynamics and its portfolio of solutions. NetSuite is seeing a tremendous opportunity within the Microsoft customer base, and now is the time to replace Microsoft. Why? There's an estimated 67,000 customers who will be switching off of Microsoft Dynamics in the near future. This has happened to the announcement of two major triggering events. The first is the announcement of Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations in October of 2016, which will force the migration of 20,000 existing customers to migrate off of AX. The second, was the announcement of Dynamics 365 Business Central in April of this year, forcing another 235,000 customers to migrate off of NAV, Great Plains, or Solomon in the near future. So in total, we're talking about 255,000 customers who will be forced to make a decision of some kind. So we want to make sure NetSuite and our partners are speaking to as many of these potential customers and prospects as possible. The more we can begin to pick off some of these accounts, the more revenue we can drive, as well as put money back into your pocket. Microsoft has given you this gift, and I suggest there's never been a better time to sell ERP, and there's never been a better time to replace Microsoft. And that is why we're here today. Those 67,000 potential switch opportunities that could become NetSuite prospects, as well as partner prospects, to help you put more money into your wallet. And as part of this opportunity, it's important not only to know where Microsoft is going, but also where it has been. And if you look at the legacy of portfolio solutions, we can talk about a number of different things. The first is Dynamics SL, or Dynamics Solomon, which used to be an on-premise product, primarily geared towards project-based accounting companies. Then you had Microsoft Dynamics GP, or Great Plains, as it's often referred to, which is a horizontal specific ERP, which included financials, basic CRM, basic project accounting, etc., primarily geared towards small and medium-sized customers. Then you had the legacy Xtapa system, which was primarily an on-premise system, geared towards large enterprises or Tier 1 type size customers of 500 users and above. And you also had Dynamics Nav, also known as Dynamics Navision, primarily an on-premise solution that was re-architected to be able to be offered hosted in the cloud by partners. Primarily this, as well, was small to medium-sized business customers targeted, as well as a more vertical specific solution, which included some supply chain manufacturing, some manufacturing capabilities geared towards wholesale distributors, manufacturers, and retail customers alike. All these solutions were originally offered on-premise and then acquired by Microsoft to be part of the Dynamics portfolio. They've all been operated and all been created in separate silos with separate roadmaps. And what Microsoft is trying to do today is really limit the amount of interactions you have with each of them and really streamline the process going forward. And that's why they've made the announcement of Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations, which is the replatforming of AX as well as Dynamics CRM. and also the replatforming of Dynamics Nav, which is Dynamics 365 Business Central, whether it's either a cloud product or on-premise product, but really that's their clear go-forward strategy. From an overall perspective, you're starting to see a slowdown in the Dynamics Solomon or Dynamics SL product, as well as Dynamics Great Plains. And many of these customers in the coming months to coming years are automatically going to be forced to either migrate to Dynamics 365, either product, or look at a new vendor. And we want to make sure that we're capitalizing on this opportunity. So what do you need to know to capitalize on this opportunity? And what is Microsoft doing, as well as what is their cloud strategy? Those are a lot of the questions that we're starting to hear and things that we want to help you sort out. So first, the thing you need to understand is that with all these legacy solutions, Solomon, Great Plains, Navision, and AX, Microsoft is essentially trying to take a shortcut to the cloud by replatforming them. Since all of them were traditionally on-premise solutions that were acquired, they haven't necessarily rewritten the entire products, and none of them were designed for the cloud. What they did was re-architected and re-platformed so they could quickly try and move them to Dynamics 365. So the first and most important thing to note is that Dynamics 365 solutions are just legacy re-architected solutions offered hosted or on-premise. The second piece is that Microsoft, while re-architecting and re-platforming these solutions into the Dynamics 365 family of products, what they really did was re-architect two products, AX and Nav, as I mentioned earlier, to Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations and Dynamics 365 Business Central. But as of spring 2018, they really want customers to believe that there's no division between the products. The reason being is they want to support this idea that they're all a family of products. So whether it's Dynamics 365 ERP, doesn't matter which solution, but also with a host of other legacy solutions that are now Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales, marketing, customer service, project service automation, field service, customer insights and talents. All these easily interact together. But all of them are really stitched together through something called the Common Data Service, or CDS. And what the CDS is their version of a platform. This is not a true platform. What this really is a data store as well as a middleware layer designed to help connect all these various disparate systems. Not only does it connect all the various disparate Microsoft Dynamics 365 solutions, but it's also designed to help customers connect to Office 365, Cortana Intelligence, the Azure IoT Suite, machine learning, a lot of the bot services that are available with Azure. And ultimately what Microsoft wants customers to believe is that all Dynamics 365 solutions, as well as the entire Microsoft stack, are all the same and interchangeable. So you can easily go from one to the other. But what essentially they've done is masked a hairball of disparate solutions written with different code bases, requiring multiple databases, all having different upgrade cycles for customers. So it's really just a tremendous amount of chaos when you start to lift up the hood. So what customers need to understand and what you need to help them understand is really they're getting a solution that's just new marketing. It's not new technology. So ultimately, the single most important thing you can help your customers and prospects understand is that with Microsoft Dynamics 365, it's re-architected single-tenant software requiring a ton of integrations. They haven't necessarily eased the burden of customizations, making it more flexible and more agile. What they talk about with flexibility and agility is now to use Visual Studio as part of the integration and part of a connected app strategy, but they haven't necessarily built a true platform. And the platform is what enables NetSuite to be better than any other vendor in the marketplace, is what allows us to more effectively sell, more effectively help our customers move from small businesses to large businesses, make investments, make divestitures, add new products, go international. It enables the future for them, and it essentially future-proofs their business, which is what's most important. Customers want to make sure that what they buy today isn't going to change in 5 to 7 years. And Microsoft hasn't had a clear definition of what their true cloud strategy is going forward. What they have is a cloud strategy revolving around single-tenant architecture applications on top of multi-tenant Azure, which is a huge difference. And from a business agility perspective, from a flexibility perspective, and from a value perspective, that is really where NetSuite differentiates itself. We not only help our customers today, but we'll also be helping our customers in the future for the lifetime that they're a customer of NetSuite. And what Microsoft is telling their customers as part of this process is that really to move from Dynamics to a Dynamics 365 solution, it's as easy as an upgrade or a migration. But they're also telling them that it's a 12-step process. And we all know how difficult it is to do any process that takes 12 steps. It's not easy. So to do a Microsoft upgrade or migration, as they're calling it, or as they're telling their potential customers and prospects, you need to take inventory, review and plan, provision Dynamics 365 online, create an upgrade, SEP environment, backup custom load, deploy an upgrade configuration. You need to clean up that configuration, fix custom code, fix reports, create those integrations and extensions. Then you also need to include and integrate your ISVs and add-ons, and then only then can you finish the 12th step and actually begin to migrate data. Understand, this is not an upgrade or a migration. This is an entirely new rip and replace. So when we talk about moving from Dynamics to Dynamics 365, you're talking about an entirely new implementation from soup to nuts. You could actually argue it's more strenuous to move from a legacy Dynamics solution to Dynamics 365, but it's actually easier to go from legacy Dynamics to NetSuite because we don't have to provision and do all these actual steps. What we sell is what we deliver, and what we deliver is what we sell. So customers day one automatically get what they subscribe to in the cloud. There's no tabula rasa or blank slate for partners to build from the ground up, right? We make it easier, we make it simpler, and we make it faster for customers to achieve value and increase profitability on NetSuite. Ultimately, Microsoft has created this sense of urgency, but they're not necessarily making customers aware of this. So it's important, and it's predicated upon you helping your customer understand that Microsoft is going to force them to make a decision. So why not help them make the right decision, right? Dynamics 365 is not the right decision. Oracle NetSuite is the solution for them going forward. And why should they make that decision? First, we were born in the cloud. We're not a separate, disparate set of solutions that we're all migrated to the cloud and still need heavily integration work between the offerings. We weren't born of disparate systems trying to be masked as a cloud offering. We were born in the cloud, built in the cloud, and maintain the same system over time. The second reason is we leverage our suite success model to ensure customers can not only be successful with leading practices and KPIs, but also make sure there's quick time to value and a tried and true way to implement, maintain, and support our customers, not only from a product perspective and a delivery perspective, but also from an industry perspective. Our expertise is making sure that customers can be successful from an industry strategy perspective to really help them win in their industries. The only way Microsoft customers are enabled that way is depending on their partners' capabilities, right? And we want to make sure NetSuite and our partners have a cohesive strategy and can accurately reflect and target those customers that we see strategic value in those given industries. And we're here to support you going forward. And then lastly, we're a true cloud solution all in a single line of code. Microsoft has simply stitched together a data store and middleware layer to create a platform. However, as I mentioned earlier, it requires multiple integrations, and each solution still requires its own database. So simply put, Microsoft doesn't have a true cloud offering in its portfolio. The best way they can do this is offer re-architected legacy solutions into a single-tenant application on Azure. The same flexibility, the same agility, and the same customization challenges exist. Yes, they've made it slightly easier, but what happens on upgrades? And that still remains largely to be seen because there's still a huge amount of risk around the Dynamics 365 portfolio. But ultimately for customers, NetSuite allows them to future-proof their business. With Microsoft, who's to say in another 3 to 5 years or 5 to 7 years, they won't be forced to migrate to another solution when Microsoft decides to have a true cloud or multi-tenant SaaS strategy. Remember, NetSuite's the only solution to never force a customer to change or migrate from an existing solution to an entirely new solution, and we never will, right? NetSuite is all we do, it's all we've ever done, and all we will continue to do going forward. But again, have your prospects ask one simple question to Microsoft or to their partners. Or if you're a Microsoft partner, ask yourself this: can Microsoft guarantee your customers will never be forced to migrate again? What happens when Microsoft decides to improve their technology, again, to not have a limitation of single-tenant SaaS? When they decide that multi-tenancy is the future like all the other multi-tenant SaaS providers who are clearly leading the way? With NetSuite, we're never going to force customers and have never forced a customer to migrate, as we have always had just one product, one solution, and it's the same one we've been running since day one. It is also the last ERP that prospects will never need. Remember, this is like performing a heart transplant, so why would you want to do this more than once? For a customer to rip and replace their ERP, the backbone of their business, this is not simple. So help your customers make the right decision and choose the last ERP they'll never need, because it's the best strategy for them going forward. And with that, I'd like to introduce Brian Gallagher from Incio, and he's going to take it from here.
Cool. Okay, thanks, Adam. So for anyone who's not familiar, Incio is a NetSuite solution provider based in Dallas, Texas. We've been selling, implementing, supporting NetSuite since 2012, and we also have the capabilities to both deliver broadly across the product, deliver suite success implementations and customizations, optimization, training, etc. So I think there's a lot of scenarios where we compete super with Microsoft. As a matter of fact, let's see, on an annual basis, we usually do something like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 conversions. Obviously, we've got our own little fishing hole, if you will, but you know, right now I have 3 active sales cycles with Dynamics. I anticipate we'll win all 3. We've already converted 1 company from Dynamics this year. So here's a few scenarios. One is, if you need more than one thing, right? So if you need ERP and CRM, or you want ERP and e-commerce, or even CRM and e-commerce, or just think of it like this. What you have with Microsoft is multiple applications that need to be connected. So even Adam earlier referenced the CDS. Well, the CDS is not real-time integration. It's a system for tying together information between the different applications, but they're still different applications. They have different rules, they have different security, different logic, all kinds of different things that have to be taken into account when you want these things to talk to each other. In our scenarios, we can show somebody in a matter of seconds where I can throw up a web form, take their information, take them as a contact, qualify them through a sale, have an opportunity, forecast it, go the whole way through selling something, have that sale fulfilled, and have them pay their bill in our online portal, all in a matter of like 5 minutes in a demo. And in real life, not just in a demo, right? It's one system. So the thing to stress in that scenario is, look, this is going to be a lower total cost of ownership. It's going to be way more efficient. You're going to get a much more complete view of the information you need to run your business, whether it's in sales or some other area. So I've kind of found that if it involves, I've had customers who have struggled for years because our primary focus when we began this journey was as an ERP firm, you know, but we've evolved over time. And actually, honestly, we evolved while we were a Microsoft partner because we started as kind of just the same old ERP consultants that you think of, but we started solving more complicated problems for our customers. But they became, we didn't really simplify their IT, and what we do with NetSuite is we simplify your IT, and there's a ton of benefits that go with that. And I would call that the first scenario. You know, if you're picking off a couple different things, it becomes a no-brainer. And I know what you could fall victim to in this scenario is somebody wants to compare an on-premise Great Plains, for example, versus all that NetSuite is, but they're not taking into account the fact that they also have Salesforce and that they also have some custom system and they also have Power BI and they write all the reports there, and they also have, you know, some other SharePoint portal technology, and they also have a bunch of other stuff where we are all of those things. So once you get to comparing costs there, a lot of times we're right there pricing. I'll be honest, these are priced lower, but you know, we're right there price competitive. So we don't need to throw out these giant discounts. We can protect the value. So that's scenario one. Scenario two is customization. So I know you hear this, you know, from leadership, let's say, at NetSuite, but it's so true, right? We can customize this solution in ways that, yes, you can build custom solutions somewhere else, but picture a Microsoft scenario where your choices are, I'm going to customize it by making a separate application in Visual Studio and embedding it into, or on the Azure platform, and embedding it into my menu structure, or I'm going to change the code of the software. And so changing the code of the software is quick and easy, right, when you do it first, except that's a one-time thing that locks you into that moment in time forever, right? It's like, you know, bell-bottom jeans or something, right? You're stuck at that point, and you know, you can't get new tailored jeans or whatever. So the thing I'd say about customizations are, we don't have to worry about so many things that other people who have to customize their solutions are, because we can, first of all, in a demonstration, we can show you, right? We can proof of concept very quickly by just adding some fields, building it into some saved searches, and you know, and showing it on your mobile device, right? Because it's immediately extensible. The way that NetSuite is as a technology platform allows you to easily customize, to integrate customizations into the transactions that you perform on a regular basis. So when I say that, what I mean is, a lot of times you could customize some system in a header record, but you can't customize the line. You can't make the calculations different. You have so many logical and code restrictions that we just don't have in the NetSuite world. And then supporting that customization going forward is almost, you don't have to do it. I mean, we get these test environments, and there's some things that we have to go test. For the most part, everything just rolls forward, and if it's something that needs a script or something that needs to be checked, that level of effort is minimal. So we should be winning in those scenarios too. Now, the challenging one here is financials only, right? So sometimes, if that's all you're looking for is financials only, okay, you know, that can be a little challenging in one sense, that now the cost comparison really becomes an application to this giant platform that we have. But we do have SKUs that allow us to sell financials only and financials first, suite success implementations. So we have a couple things there. But more importantly, there's some things that we have that other solutions don't have. So we're not tied to a GL structure. We have a dimensional way of transacting. So that's very powerful visually when you're showing somebody. How can I look at, like if I was doing a financials only demonstration and it was multi-entity, one thing that I would definitely show is the subsidiary navigator, right? Because that allows me to easily view in one system without going to some other reporting tool all my metrics by this division or in total or whatever, which is easier said than done in other systems. Actually, it's just not done in other systems. And so also in the financials only, I would expand that conversation, because a lot of times when we're dealing with just financials, we're dealing with a more sophisticated accounting department who also has FP&A needs. And our FP&A story is strong because we've got Oracle, PBCS that we can go to market with in concert with our NetSuite financials. And that's something that other people, frankly, just don't have. You know, it's certainly not in the Microsoft world. In the Microsoft world, you know, the vision is let me show you how to do all your reporting. Let me discontinue all the financial reporting tools, and let me show you how to do your reporting in Excel, which is not, I mean, finance and accounting people love Excel, but I think we can sell against that. And, you know, again, it's back to that vision that this is designed to run your business, not with a bunch of different add-ons. So that's what I would say about that. And then other miscellaneous, what I would say is just making sure that you're comparing apples to apples and people understand what the platform is, because this isn't exactly customization. Customization, when you think about what I was talking about there, I'm talking about building something into the solution for a specific business function. When you think of the technology platform, is we have an infinitely scalable platform where you can grow up and add transactions and add users and add compliance requirements and add mobility needs and add all kinds of other things without having to think about any of those things. So, and you know, and back a little bit about customization. So if you think about customization, though I was talking about it before, and integrating it into your transactions, we've had great success in going in and finding the other systems that you use that are either custom built or just a series of spreadsheets, and incorporating that into the software just as part of the solution. So it's kind of blends that line. But when you think about what we have here, is we have a platform that used to be what you might, in a Microsoft world, what you might position SharePoint as, a place for your unstructured data. The problem with that is managing SharePoint out to a whole bunch of users becomes very arduous, right? And what kind of user are they, and how do they view things, and how do we as an organization that is, and when I say we, I mean the CFO of our prospects, or the COO, or the executives of our prospects, you know, how are they managing that, and how are they making use of that, and how is it tied into the rest of their systems? So in our case, it's right there. We're dynamically building subledgers in the same system that the rest of our NetSuite is, you know, it resides in. So it's a basically any other miscellaneous scenario you can think of is a great competitive advantage for us. So sometimes if it seems like we're failing in a financials only, or we're failing in an ERP CRM, dig for that. There's going to be some hairball, to use a NetSuite term, sitting out there that we can sweep up and win a deal with. So with that, I'll turn it back to John.
All right, thanks, Brian. Great info. Also, I wanted to let you know that we posted a testimonial we did with Brian on why he chose NetSuite over Dynamics. You can download that from right here within this webinar. And then finally, I want to highlight some new tools that you can find on the Partner Resource Center. We've pulled together some new competitive content, plus a battle card. Also, we've posted some co-brandable emails that you can leverage. And finally, we're getting ready to roll out a new competitive offer to help you switch customers over to NetSuite. Please reach out to your RSM to get more info on that offer. All right, and with that, I want to thank our speakers, Adam Cooper and Brian Gallagher, and thanks to all of you for attending today. We hope to see you for our next webinar. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.